Welcome back to the web series of Cardiovascular System, the physiology of cardiovascular system. Stroke volume and cardiac output. The amount of blood pumped by each ventricle per beat is called stroke volume. During a single contraction, each ventricle pumps out 70 ml of blood into the aorta or pulmonary artery. Stroke volume is the difference between the end diastolic ventricular volume and end systolic ventricular volume. The end diastolic volume is 140 ml, end systolic volume is 70 ml. The stroke volume is 70 ml. The amount of blood pumped by each ventricle per minute is called cardiac output. The normal cardiac output is 5 to 6 liters per minute. It is the product of stroke volume and heart rate. Cardiac index is the cardiac output expressed with respect to the total skin surface area. Distribution of cardiac output. 75% of cardiac output is distributed to the vital organs and the rest 25% to skeletal muscles, other organs and skin. The measurement of cardiac output. The cardiac output can be estimated by using the Fick's principle. It states that the amount of substance taken up by the body in unit time is equal to the arteriovenous concentration difference of the substance times the blood flow. Variations in cardiac output. Physiological variation. Age. Cardiac output increase from infancy to adulthood. Sex. Value is less in females than in males. Exercise. In severe exercise, cardiac output can increase from 5 liters per minute to 30 to 35 liters per minute. Cardiac output increases by about 30% during digestion, that is after the meals. Posture. Cardiac output is maximal in the lying down posture and minimum in the standing posture. Pathological variation of cardiac output. Pathological increase in cardiac output is seen in hyperthyroidism, fever, etc. Pathological decrease is seen in hypothyroidism, fibrillation, hemorrhage, myocardial infarction, etc. Regulation of cardiac output. The factors affecting cardiac output include stroke volume and heart rate. Regulation of cardiac output includes all factors that regulate stroke volume and heart rate, since cardiac output is the product of heart rate and the stroke volume. Regulation of stroke volume. Stroke volume is regulated by mainly two mechanisms. The heterometric regulation includes end diastolic volume and aortic impedance. End diastolic volume is the preload and aortic impedance is the afterload on heart. The preload is a degree to which the cardiac muscle is stretched before it contracts. Afterload is the resistance against which the ventricles pump the blood. Heterometric regulation is independent of cardiac innervation. Homometric regulation includes the neural and chemical factors. Heterometric regulation of stroke volume. Factors affecting atria. Venous return. Total amount of venous or impure blood returning to the right atrium during atrial diastole through the inferior and superior vena cava. The factors affecting venous return include respiratory or inspiratory pump, muscle pump, venous pressure difference, sympathetic tone, and the force of gravity. Respiratory or inspiratory pump. During inspiration, there is increase in intrathoracic volume due to the movement of ribs along with sternum and also due to the movement of diaphragm, so that the inferior vena cava can dilate to its maximum and maximum venous return to the right atrium occurs. It's directly proportional to the venous return. Muscle pump. During muscular exercise, there is increase in venous return in the right atrium through inferior vena cava, known as muscle pump. Venous pressure difference. In the venous system, the pressure with the smaller venules is 12 to 16 mm of mercury. In the small vein is 6 to 8 mm of Hg. In inferior vena cava, the pressure is 2 to 3 mm of mercury, and within the right atrium, the pressure is 0 mm of mercury. This range in pressure difference causes maximum venous return in the right atrium. Sympathetic tone. Stimulation of sympathetic neurons can cause increase in tonicity of veins, which can increase venous return to the right atrium. Force of gravity. In standing position, due to gravitational force, pooling of blood towards the legs and cause decrease in venous return to the right atrium. It is inversely proportional to the venous return. Factors affecting ventricle. It include blood volume, aortic impedance, ventricular complaints, and force of contraction of ventricle. Blood volume. If the normal blood volume is 5 liter, then the cardiac output is also 5 liter and the stroke volume is 70 ml. But conditions like vomiting and diarrhea, there is decrease in total blood volume, which cause corresponding decrease in cardiac output and stroke volume. Aortic impedance. It's a resistance offered by aorta during slow ejection. If the aortic impedance is high, the ventricular ejection becomes low. Ventricular complaints. In conditions like pericardial effusion and pericarditis, the intra-pericardial pressure becomes more than normal and ventricular complaints become less, and the end diastolic volume, stroke volume, cardiac output become low. Force of contraction of ventricle. There are two factors which affects the force of contraction of ventricle: preload and afterload. Hormometric factors affecting stroke volume. It includes neural factors, chemical factors, and hormonal factors. Neural factors. Sympathetic stimulation can increase stroke volume and heart rate. Parasympathetic stimulation can decrease stroke volume and heart rate. Chemical factors. It includes hypoxia, hypercapnia, acidosis, which can decrease the stroke volume and heart rate. Chemicals like caffeine, theophylline can increase stroke volume and heart rate. Hormonal factors. Adrenaline, noradrenaline, thyroid hormone can stimulate stroke volume and heart rate. Arterial blood pressure. Arterial blood pressure is defined as the lateral pressure exerted on the walls of blood vessels by the contained blood. Blood pressure is expressed as systolic pressure or diastolic pressure in terms of millimeter of mercury. The normal blood pressure in a healthy adult is about 120/80 mm of mercury. Instead of pumping a continuous stream of blood into aorta, the heart pumps intermittently. As a result, the arterial pressure rises during systole and falls during diastole. In a cardiac cycle, during ventricular systole, the pressure in the aorta and in the large arteries rises to a peak value is about of 120 mm of mercury and is referred to as systolic blood pressure. During ventricular diastole, the pressure falls to a minimum value of 80 mm of mercury, which is called the diastolic blood pressure. The difference between systolic and diastolic pressure is called the pulse pressure, which is about 50 mm of mercury in an adult in the resting state. Measurement of arterial blood pressure by palpatory method and auscultatory method. Variations in blood pressure. Physiological variations. Age. The systolic as well as the diastolic pressure increases with advancing age. Sex. As compared to men of the same age, females have a lower blood pressure up to menopause. Build. Obese people have a high blood pressure. Sleep. During quiet restful sleep, there is fall in blood pressure by about 10 to 20 mm of mercury. Muscular exercise increases blood pressure temporarily. Systolic blood pressure increases in all types of exercise because there is increase in cardiac output. In severe exercise, the diastolic blood pressure falls due to vasodilation and fall in peripheral resistance. Posture and gravity. In the standing posture, diastolic blood pressure is high, whereas in the lying down posture, systolic blood pressure is high. The pressure in any vessel below the heart level is higher than that of in any vessel above the heart level due to the effect of gravity. Pathological variations. It include hypertension and hypotension. Hypertension. A sustained elevation of the systemic arterial blood pressure above the normal range is termed as systemic hypertension. In adults, elevation of systolic pressure above 140 mm of mercury and diastolic BP above 90 mm of mercury is considered as hypertension. A prolonged high blood pressure may result in serious consequences. Pulmonary hypertension is increase in the pressure in the pulmonary artery, and this is independent of the pressure in the systemic arteries. Consequences of sustained high blood pressure. High pressure leads to cardiac failure, atherosclerosis and myocardial infarction, rupture or thrombosis of cerebral vessels leading to stroke and even death. Renal failure occurs due to changes occurring in the renal arteries. Types of hypertension. There are mainly two types of hypertension: primary hypertension and secondary hypertension. Hypotension. A persistent reduction in the arterial blood pressure is known as hypotension. A reduction in the systolic pressure below 100 mm of mercury and diastolic below 60 mm of mercury is hypertension. Sudden hypertension will cause loss of consciousness called fainting or syncope. Hypotension is due to an inadequate cardiac output or a decrease in the peripheral resistance.